How would I go about making a worthwhile NFT project? It's easy to criticize other people's businesses. As an entrepreneur myself, I know that actually doing the work is a whole different ballgame than sitting on the sidelines lobbing advice. I'm not quite ready to start another business just yet, with or without NFTs. But if I were, what steps would I take to ensure that business wasn't one that I would declare empty or an unintentional rug? Keep watching to find out how to mix good entrepreneurship and Web3, broken down in 3 key steps. Hi everyone, my name is Daniel Tenner aka Swombat, and in these videos I use my 15 years of experience as a successful entrepreneur working with hundreds of tech startup founders to bring some clarity to Web3 and NFTs so we can all make better investment decisions. Wait, what's that noise?
Oh yeah? Well, you're just an old school entrepreneur, you just don't get Web3. The old rules don't apply here, this is a new frontier.
Well, you have a point there. Every startup environment is different, but there's still some rules that are pretty universal no matter what business you start. For example, if you don't manage your cash well enough to be able to pay your staff, you'll go out of business. And there's other broader principles which I think also apply.
Oh yeah? Well, how would you get started in Web3 then? How do you do it?
Thanks, Dave. Thanks, Dave. Well, funnily enough, I wouldn't start with the NFT or even with the idea. I start with a problem, which is what will lead me to the product, if there is one.
I want to know everything.
Well, Dave, the art of designing and building a great product is way beyond the scope of this video, but there are some key relevant points to get you started. A lot of new entrepreneurs get this wrong because they think you should start with an idea. Some people do, and they get lucky, but that's not really the best way to do startups. The risk is just too high that you'll build something nobody wants, which is the cardinal sin of startups. That happened with my first 2 startups, by the way. The first step before thinking about products is actually to find a problem, and specifically a problem worth solving. Startup Force talk about scratching your own itch, and almost always a problem I experience myself, or which I know very well, is better than something in an area which I'm not familiar with. Once I found the problem that I want to solve, I still need to validate it in various ways. First of all, check that it actually is a problem and that people other than me also care enough about it being solved. Books like The Mom Test by Rob Fitzpatrick, linked in the comments, are excellent to teach us how to ask the right questions to figure this out, by the way. Once I know that this is a real problem felt by other people, then I can start coming up with solutions, both on a technical level and also on the business process side.
Coming up with lots of solutions? That sounds really tedious. Where's the vision in that? The drive, the passion?
Well, the vision, the drive, and the passion come from wanting to solve the problem, from caring about its impact on people, not from falling in love with my first product idea. Often, entrepreneurs will make the mistake of having just one idea, both for the product and for the business model, and spending the next 3 years implementing it. Yeah, I've done that. The truth is, most problems have many technical solutions. And for a given problem and technical solution, there are dozens, if not hundreds of ways to structure a business model around it. And the truth is, most of them are wrong and won't work out. It's my job as an entrepreneur to figure out which one is going to work by eliminating those which aren't as quickly as possible.
Boring!
Maybe, but despite what you might think from hearing about people like Steve Jobs and Elon Musk, entrepreneurship is not actually all that flashy. Great entrepreneurs are usually very good at relentlessly learning and improving. They're more like obsessive geeks than rock stars. That's because most of the startup journey is basically an ongoing process of learning where I'm wrong, iterating my business until it reaches product market fit and beyond. This figuring out where I'm wrong activity never really stops because there's always important things that I'm wrong about.
Well, yeah, for real, like, you forgot about NFTs. Where are they in all this?
Relax, we'll get to that. NFTs are a funding mechanism. They're not the thing we're building. First, we need to figure out what to build. And before we think about funding, there's another important step we need to look at.
Oh, I know this one. Build a better mousetrap and the world will be the path to your door. It's by Emerson, I know that. I'm smart.
It's actually a misquote of what he said, but more importantly, it's also totally wrong. The world is full of great products with awful marketing that just don't sell. NFTs are no exception. Think of all the projects that failed to take off. That was often a marketing issue much more than a product issue. You can't really get better product market fit than a pyramid scheme in the middle of a tulip mania. If I can't figure out a way to get my product to market, it doesn't matter how good it is. There's no point in building it because I won't be able to sell it. If I can't sell it, I can't make money from it. So there's no business.
Aha! So that's where you're going to use the power of NFTs for community building and marketing and...
No, not really. NFTs can help with marketing, of course, but I don't think they can substitute for a real go-to-market strategy. What I mean by that is I need to know who the likely customers are and how I will reach them. And much like with step 1, I need to test this to build some level of confidence that my ideas will actually work. Of course, this can be skipped or at least becomes less important if I've already got a big marketing platform. Like if this channel had a bajillion subscribers and every video was getting a million views, then I probably wouldn't worry too much about the marketing. But most entrepreneurs, and that includes me today, don't have that. So figuring out how I'm going to reach my customers is essential. There's no cookie cutter solution to this either. It's highly specific to the product and the market I've chosen for it. But it's very important to have a realistic plan before I move on to the next step.
Is it NFTs?
Yes, it is. Maybe. For most startups, I think NFTs have a lot of potential as a fundraising model. But before rushing to issue another PFP project, or indeed any NFTs, I think it's important to figure out how the NFT will be tied into the product. What will make the NFT valuable?
It's obvious. People who buy your NFTs are your holders and you just need to reward them when the business takes off.
Well, no, that's not really such a great plan. You might think that as a business succeeds, there's more money to share around, but that's not how it goes. Usually businesses that succeed get there through the work of many people, and most of those people need to be rewarded. It's not safe to need the goodwill of the business's management team in order for your investment to pay off. After all, you don't even know who will be running the company by then. They may not give a damn about you at all. So I wouldn't launch an NFT until I have a clear answer to that. Whether that's some kind of lifetime subscription token for a software as a service product, or maybe a token that gives early access to new or more advanced features for consumer products, or something totally different. I wouldn't sell any NFTs if I can't figure out 3 things. First of all, a way to tie the value of the NFT to the success of the business, but that doesn't involve cash or token payouts, airdrops, or anything that looks like a dividend, because that's going to be a security. Secondly, a target price point for those NFTs, a reasonable value for them once the business is successful. And finally, an initial mint price that is low enough that it is worth taking the risk of buying this token, even though it will be worth less than its mint price for the first few months or even few years after you mint it. If I can't figure those factors out, then in my view, I'd be pushing way too much risk on my token buyers and basically exploiting their FOMO rather than offering them to join me on this startup ride. And then once I figure these 3 things out, I'd be very clear about it in my communications, so people know what they're buying instead of staying vague and hyped up to get people overexcited and spending more than they should.
That's stupid. You're leaving a lot of money on the table.
Maybe, but my integrity is worth more to me than doing an NFT funding round. There's a pretty wide gulf between being passionate and driven about solving a problem and being willing to rip off hundreds or thousands of people to do it. Unfortunately, most NFT projects don't bother figuring out that link at all, or if they do, they keep it vague, don't state it on their website, and keep people hyped up. If you'd like a more in-depth look at how to tease out the value link, by the way, check out this video I made earlier. GM and good luck, and thanks for the help, Dave.